Welcome to the Crown Jewel Review. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened at Crown Jewel. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events, we have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a WWE quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Crown Jewel. Crikey! What a show!
Never leave Australia, WWE. The start times for the shows are exceptional.
Yes.
Here in the UK, the crowds, like only a couple of exceptions, just enjoy the action for what it is rather than trying to get themselves over and get a song on the go. And it must be opposite land being down under because the Fed's good down there. Like, what the hell? Like, we were just talking about this before we came on because we're going to be doing a Raw watch along today off the back of like a thoroughly enjoyable SmackDown one. And I couldn't decide if it was just finally getting Bloody Road Dogg out of the way or
He's still there, so.
The fact that we were, well, it's more reduced capacity, obviously, so they're going with the creative of the MFTs and the Wyatts. Like, I enjoyed it.
Do they not allow dogs in Australia? Like, you know, when they're like, oh,
that's what the
road dog wasn't allowed into Australia.
That's what the kangaroos obviously sent out there to police, isn't it? Yeah, big spade you. Set. So I was on a high from
Spider Girder
from SmackDown, creative changes. Spider Girder was pretty good. As soon as I finished stream, I was like, Sid, you're going to need to see this set, man. It's Spider Girder. And at Crown Jewel, like we had said on the preview, not a very high bar for WWE PLEs in 2025. My favourite of the year. Like definitely my favourite of the year. Like I thought Evolution had some proper highs.
Yeah. I think that's probably my favourite of the year.
Arguable best of the year stuff. Although I thought the Rhea Ripley Sky match was a bit overrated. There was a lot of other stuff I really liked as a show, as an experience, and in terms of the match quality as well. And the other stuff I'm now looking forward to is Raw and going into War Games. Yeah, show of the year for me, I think, from WWE.
Can I just shock you?
Go on.
I had a decent time with this.
Hey!
And I think... What? What do you think I'm going to say?
I saw your tweet about someone in the
Well, I'll repeat that, and the mega fans will forgive me. Later on in the broadcast, for a bit of retention, I think the Yanks might have a point. Oh my God, these limey, British, miserable pricks. Huh? God, it's no wonder you don't like the show. You're half awake. You're moaning about it. Yeah. So on the Saturday, the missus was out going to the theatre.
Ooh,
with the mother. Miss Saigon.
Oh, nice.
So I had the kids all afternoon, but now they're at an age where they can entertain themselves. So the idea was, right, I'm up early anyway. I'm going to get up, do all the kind of houseworky bits that I need to do, sort out the general house admin. James, the eldest, was at a football match. And I was like, right, well, I'll tire out the youngest, my daughter, got a big scoot, go to the park, go to the shops and do all the rest of it, and then I can sort of guilt-free, right, you can go in front of that telly, I'm going in the other one. So eldest ran around knackered. Youngest, I ran her around. And it was like, we'll get a pizza later, but for the remaining 3 hours, everyone can just go away. So I was in a nice little mood, and then 10 minutes before the show started, Eldest comes back from football, and he's one player of the goddamn match.
Hey, nice. Well done, James.
So we're 2-0 down. He's grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. He's moved into the midfield role. He's been the midfield enforcer. He's sparked the move and got the assist in the same move that gets it back to 1-2. He's all over the place. The draw 2-2. He gets player of the match. It's the first time he's ever had it. He's absolutely buzzing. So it's like, this life thing. Today at least, ain't so bad.
You think you like this little life?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's not that bad. So I don't know.
I get that every time I see that Netflix countdown number. It's like, I think I like this little life. Like,
no, I don't.
3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute.
Maybe once a year.
Come on, he's in a good mood.
So and then I put the show on. I'm like, hey, this day couldn't have gone much better, really. And tell you what, if you ever have a son or a daughter, and you get them to play football and you know they played well and got a good result, it's genuinely like I have the same feeling as when Newcastle won. Just pure like pride and happiness and all the rest of it. So I switched to show and I was like, God, it's about 3.5 out of 5, maybe 3.25. But I'm awake and I'm in a decent mood. So, stay in Australia. Stay in Australia.
3.5 out of 5 is like Punk Joe at Wembley tier. So I'd say pretty good.
And I will say, part of the reason why I'm enthused about this review and didn't have a terrible time is like there was actually something debatable and halfway controversial and worthy of talking about, and that is John Cena versus AJ Styles. So I was watching thinking, Christ, I've got different opinions colliding into each other about this match. My God, I can talk, which is pretty useful in my capacity as a professional podcaster. So, okay, let's go.
And let's get into it. Yeah, Rhea Ripley narrates an intro video. Can you hear it? Which is all about how loud everywhere's been. Quick flashback to Puerto Rico, please. Come on.
I absolutely love this video because it was really easy to imagine how it must have felt being in the building at that moment. I've been so critical, and it is AEW especially because, to be honest, sometimes promotion is all that the Fed's got when the booking's not good. But I just felt like they were laying out an exact example of something I want. It's not just video packages are good because they are, but like I understand why people might just want more action or whatever instead of a video package. We've been pretty critical of some of the crowds and the performative aspect of it and whatnot, and that's what some of this was even celebrating. But the sheer effort put into this, so that if you were in that building, one of the stars you were most excited to see has just given you one almighty
license.
Come on, let's go. Like, not that they needed it, as you could tell as soon as the show started, but you would be absolutely, you'd be riding that high, like ready for the opener. It's
clever promotion.
It's part of the show.
Who narrated this again?
Rhea bloody Ripley.
Crikey.
I saw the t-shirt as soon as he came in. I was like, yep, it's going to be a good day today. And she's going to be on Raw later.
Yep.
That's why I wore it.
Oh.
See it. No, lean to your right so you can look back there.
There you go. And also the visual, not just of the arena itself, but like, 80% people wearing John Cena t-shirts?
This was amazing. I have a theory for which I'm going to have to visit one of the corners. I shared this with Sidgwick over the desk this morning.
Well, you had to throw it at me to do the corner.
What's the corner, Sidge?
Conspiracy corner.
The good kind, right? I haven't seen any tweets from anyone in Perth saying they were giving the shirts away or the shirts were just on the seat or whatever.
TKO. Not bloody like.
Nor have I seen that there was any sort of discount. So we'll work on the assumption that this was just one of those occasions where a lot of the people had bought a ticket to see John Cena, felt like they were witnessing a part of history, their own little slice of it, and wanted to indulge in that further by buying a shirt. There's nothing that wild about that. But this was Austin 316 NWO, maybe more so because of the flash of yellow in particular, it did look like a home game for a sports team, right? And amazing, really, really cool and unusual, especially in the this era and now where everybody's got a million t-shirts and you just see that, you see a lot of people buying merch, but so everybody kind of came together on this one. I was trying to work out a way in which WWE had in some way orchestrated this, and that's why I thought maybe about discounts or deals. If you buy one for your whole party or something, you get a discount or something, because
the big dingo dollar deal.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Dingo dollar deal, right?
Everyone says that.
Yeah. Because a bit like the crowds and how over time WWE managed to cultivate this idea that you've got to be louder than the last crowd or you've got to be singing along more than the last crowd did or so-and-so. What if this is a merchandise strategy for John Cena's last night, Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C., and they are selling red, white, and blue John Cena t-shirts.
Whoa.
And they want that whole crowd in DC in the Saturday night's main event colour scheme, pretty much to a man dressed in the red, white, and blue.
And God bless the United States.
Well, that's ruined it a bit. But
And then they get the heat. The heat.
yeah,
They get the heat when Gunther beats them.
crap, lousy American on his last night. But what a visual.
That's what I've always said about John Cena.
Crap, lousy
He's
American.
crap and lousy.
It was it was all you could sort of focus on when the show started, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we got straight into it with an Aussie street fight. Roman Bloody Reigns versus Bronson Bloody Reed, despite the fact he's the hometown guy. everyone hated him, called him a wanker. Reigns dominates early on.
Did you hear the chance that Asuka got when Rhea Ripley was doing the post show?
No.
Oscars is
For real?
Yeah. So Rhea Ripley was just corpsing. Oscars is
Jesus. Wow. I love them. Aussie fans are the best. The early weapons included an Aussie rules ball and a rugby ball?
Yeah, he had like a bin of Australian sports props to sort of offset the obvious complaint that the likes of us are going to have over kendo sticks and tables. Got them out of the way and then got into the kendo sticks and tables.
Yes. Roman pulled out a cricket bat. There was a Steve Smith reference. I understood it. And hit him with it. And then Reed fought back. That's the wanker bit. He also attacked Roman Reigns with a stop sign, and the fans chanted, "Read the sign." Later on, Reigns sets up for a big spear, running around the ring, but he gets taken out by Braun Breaker, and they beat him down. They do the Shield powerbomb through the table, and then that's what the crowd was saying.
Yep.
Out comes the Usos to fight off Breaker and beat up Reed. Hit Breaker with a 1D, but Braun fights off the effects and fights back. Reed shoves Jimmy off the top rope. Breaker hit a press slam into a gutbuster on Jay. Braun Breaker speared Jimmy Uso through the barricade. Reigns pops back up though, hits some Superman punches to Reed and Breaker, and it looks like the Bloodline effectively have got this in hand. But at the last second, after Reigns fought off a DVD, Jay goes to spear Reed, but he moves, and Jay spears Roman Reigns through the table. Breaker spears Jay. Reed hit Reigns with a tsunami and beat Roman Reigns. Jey Uso cost him post-match. The Usos and Roman is sitting in the ring, and Roman's ranting. The whole world thinks I can't do this on my own. I told you I'm going to do it on my own, but he tells them that he loves them.
Do it with help.
But he doesn't want to see them till Christmas, and there's a little bit of an argument between the Usos as well before Jay walks out.
Not perfect, but the best version of itself. I really enjoyed this and didn't expect to. The first half was completely carried by Roman Reigns walking around like he had springs in the heels of his boots. He was bouncing out there, just whether it was like genuinely feeding off the energy of the crowd or just performing that, I bought it.
If you want tables, acknowledge me, he said at one point.
Yeah, and look how happy they were to get an acknowledge me promo. That might sound stupid, but you buy a ticket to see these stars and they got the star wrestling and didn't get the star promo, and it's cool when he does that. And like, this is... Like I say, this was the best version of what it could be, I thought. It was always going to feel... I think we previewed that Bronson and Reed could beat Roman Reigns.
Yes.
But it was always going to feel like that. They're doing it because they sort of have to a bit. You know, like Roman's already beaten him on pay-per-view and they 50-50'd that. What is it now if Roman doesn't win? And in the end, I thought they folded this quite nicely back into the Bloodline story. I accept some very valid criticisms that the Bloodline is why we can come on a podcast to complain, why do the Elite just only hang around and wrestle each other? The Bloodline is absolutely WWE's version of that. Every time they go back to that, you're kind of seeing these characters overlapping like this again.
Not for me.
We've Kenny Omega alone.
Well, no, but like we've talked
I
about...
get it. We don't have to, it's not relevant to this, though.
I think it's very relevant to it. Like, you see these characters that constantly are in each other's business, and you sort of think, I wouldn't actually mind them being completely away from one another. I didn't really need...
They do it as well.
Roman and...
They started it.
I didn't really need... Well, and WWE bettered it. Like, I don't really need Roman to be around the Usos. Like, you know...
Jimmy Uso bettered.
You build a business for this sort of thing, don't you? Or it just fritters away. It's one or the other. Like, I don't need them to be interacting, again, like this.
Shows crap.
But...
He's changed his opinion.
So, what do you think of that?
But I thought the way they actually handled it was quite effective. Roman had told the Usos not to come out, and they waited and waited. There was quite a lot that went on before the Usos thought, right, all right, now we've got to make our presence felt. Jay coming out dressed like a mini Roman again, playing down to what CM Punk had said about him, in the combat pants and the no shirt. He's like, I'm just as good in a way, and then he F's it up, ruins it. Not seeing him till Christmas means that presumably Roman's going to be involved in the picking of the War Games team and isn't going to want to pick either of them, which will rattle Jey Uso presumably in the story because he'll feel like, no, I'm part of this. I want to help him, a big deal.
Or he picks Jimmy, which is even funnier.
Well, I don't think he'll pick either.
I don't think he will.
Christmas felt pointed.
Imagine though, like I need an Uso on this team, and that's what I'm picking. Jimmy.
Yeah, well, yeah, like which is sort of a flip of what we thought was going to happen. But now I think it's neither, and there's something else as well. What was it? Like Bronson Reed. I feel nothing from so often that like the few times he actually does something that impresses me, I kind of want to flag it up because I feel a bit cruel sometimes. This was one of those nights where wrestlers will sometimes get pins and it won't really impact their push or their run.
No.
And in terms of how they produced this match and Bronson Reed's performance in it, and then the follow-up later on as well.
Yeah, they made it feel like a big
with
deal,
Paul
didn't
Heyman,
they?
yeah. Like this was like an earnest attempt from everybody involved, Bronson Reed included, to actually make the best of this, make the most of this. Like, he is going to say that he pinned Roman Reigns and he's one of the only people to do it, and it's going to be Chris Jericho pinning The Rock and Steve Austin in the same night, etc. But I don't think he looked particularly out of his depth doing so. I don't think he looked like the guy that just happened to be the beneficiary of like another bloodline retelling or another story or whatever. Maybe that was because he was lifted by getting to live what must be like a personal and professional dream.
Yeah.
Like he did look like he's not a tall guy. I'm stating the obvious there, but he looked physically bigger by the fact that he was getting this big night in Australia that for years probably looked out of reach.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been in and out of this system and he's sort of stumbled into this push a little bit when he first did that tsunami attack on Seth Rollins a year ago. Must have felt validating, and I felt like he looked it. He was, wearing it. He was kind of like, shoulders out, that kind of thing. So I thought he had a pretty good night too.
I did enjoy Crown Jewel, but it didn't get off to the best start. This was a tame regulation, cliche-infested WWE plunder match, complete with that barricade spot. Didn't get anything out of this, like, at all. Like, not one thing. If you're not into the Bloodline saga and thought it was overrated all along, you're certainly not going to enjoy a diminished return of it. Just reeks of an idealist promotion, which has defined really the thread of 2025. And I will say as well that I don't want to say that he is, but I don't want to accuse him in this specific case of being a really savvy political operator. But I know Roman's always had that sort of mischief about him, and he can be banter, and sometimes he's genuinely quite funny and mean-spirited and cruel with it. But it did strike me as somewhat telling that on the night he has to do a job as, muddy and not really definitive as it was, he starts the match by pissing about and playing with toy props. Put it this way, right? If you're expecting Roman Reigns, who never takes pins or very, 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 very rarely takes pins, surely you save it and make it mean something in the sort of trivial tone and the sort of house show style performance. I reckon the idea of Bronson Reed getting anything out of this win was just undermined, minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes before he actually got the fall. It's wrestling doesn't work like that. Oh, you've pinned a big star. Ipso facto, you're a big star. Like, it's just not how pro wrestling works, and I'm not naive to that. And I think I've criticized, look at me, I'm doing it as well. I've criticized AEW for trying to do that as their model. Noble failure, because that's what people thought it might be so easy 6 years ago when no one was getting over in mainstream wrestling in WWE. I'm not saying it if Roman had taken it seriously and there was blood involved and it was like a more attritional, actually violent weapons match that Bronson Reed would have got any more over. Might have helped.
That's fair criticism.
Might have helped.
I was enjoying his performance. That's a fair point.
It felt like a bit of a piss about, and it's a Roman match. I used to say, probably still true, that when WWE was at its worst, like, you couldn't even rate it out of 10. Like, the highest it could be would be a 7 out of 10. It's how far below the 7 or the 6 can you get. With a Roman match, it's like it's never going to break new ground or thrill me or have me pounding my chest. It's going to have barricade spots. It's going to have a lot of stalling. It's going to have the Usos involved. It's always going to have a ceiling like lowered onto it in terms of how much I can get out of it. And it's pretty whack. Might start saying that on the podcast now. Yeah, it's pretty whack, this, isn't it?
Not for me. I liked it.
Yeah. well, different folks, different needs, different strokes.
Then we got our first champion versus champion match for the Crown Jewel Championship. They had a big thing as well where it was like, oh, we got to bloody transport this from bloody Saudi Arabia. It was WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton versus Women's World Champion. I can never remember those titles. Stephanie Vaquer. First time ever. Vaquer has the most wins in WWE in 2025. Stratton undefeated this year. I missed that. Good little story they told. Back and forth between the two of them. Obviously, you know, it's babyface versus babyface. Sort of honourable, but, you know, hard-hitting and what have you. At one point, Stratton goes for a senton. Vaquer gets the knees up, hits the devil's kiss. Everyone loves that. Hits the SVB backbreaker for 2. Stratton fights back, hits a rolling senton, but missed the prettiest moonsault ever, and then hit the spiral tap for the win before being presented with the title by Triple H, cutting a promo after fans chanting, "You deserve it," saying the title represented all the emotional support the fans had given her. She followed her dreams, the fans believed in her, and now she believed in herself. And she said, "La Primera is the world champion and the Crown Jewel champion." Load up.
I love this, and I loved it to the point where I thought it was better than Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky for the belt. I thought it was better than the tag match that came later on the show. And I don't know if it's just one of them things where you kind of know what you're after out of wrestling, and then there's a period where wrestling isn't really giving you it. And then this felt like it was giving me that. I, too, just enjoyed the use of their respective records and how they use them over the course of the match as well. They like, I know I bring this up a lot, and I fear that it sort of like colours my experience of the show a bit, but like those infographics that come up, like one of my sons was like, Tiffany Stratton's not lost all year. When did she win the belt? And it was like, oh, last December. And it's like, that just creates this thing in the match where like, well, she's always going to win, isn't she? Because she's not lost all year. But that's to the point about like what really gets a wrestler over. That's what gets a Stephanie Vaquer over, because we've already seen these great performances from her in ring. She's kind of already proven that there's enough evidence out there of the matches alone she's had this year. Matches. But now you've got like a kayfabe thing in the form of that little reminder that Tiffany Stratton, as this unbeaten world champion, hasn't even done like a non-title job, which happens in wrestling. You know, she hasn't. Nobody's been able to like lay a glove. Simultaneously, by having the commentators talk about how this year as champion is starting to wear on Stratton, and are we starting to see the signs of what it takes to kind of keep that unbeaten record when she does like take that extra second or make that little mistake. There was the handspring back elbow that she went for, and they were like she's maybe like wasting too much time, or is she just starting to like kind of wear down a little bit, and is Stephanie Vaquer just a little bit fresher and a little bit more energized, which is the story of her character, because she's top of the world, like prime of her life, prime of her career, the whole deal.
Brand new.
Yeah, and the match was brisk with it. Everything connected. Everything felt like it hit quite hard. You made the point about the two baby faces.
The knees up for the PME was like, oh, that's a skull fracture
she
there.
Took that one.
Yeah.
Like you made the point.
And that was immediately followed by the devil's kiss, which worked nicely as well.
Yeah.
The baby faces should escalate organically between baby faces that don't start wanting to hurt each other, but then have to win the match. I really liked it, and I was surprised how much I liked it, because babyface ones with nothing to fight for are tricky by design, and they worked me into believing how much they wanted this and what that ginormous belt meant as like a...
Come on, this is the Crown Jewel Championship.
But like, worked me into thinking that's a stamp of credibility, especially when it's such a key story in the main event.
Yes.
Putting it over in this match will help your main event, which is what it's been sold on, you know? So yeah, like a multifarious success story, and I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, what I wouldn't have given for like 5 more minutes to the middle chapter." I was like, I think your brains are broken.
That was my leading
It was
take.
about 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Got in there, nailed the whole story. Everything was like really well executed. Got the hell out of Dodge. I couldn't have asked for more.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It must have been when you were kissing me.
Yes, please.
Because I've got literally the exact same take. Literally the exact same take. I do try not to analyze things in reaction to what people say on the internet. It can get dreary. There's podcasts I've stopped listening to that do this constantly, but I'm going to do it now, purely because people's brains are broken, and I need them to repair their brains, because I think if they repair their brains and create a new set of standards and expectations, then wrestling wouldn't be in the state that it's in. I'm not saying it's in a terrible state. I'm saying it's in a boring, formulaic state in which certain things have to happen, apparently. It's enshrined in law. I don't think that's the case, personally. Why did this need an extra 5 minutes? Matches, so many of them, would be better off if there were 5 minutes edited off them. This didn't need to go longer than it needed to go.
Shortest match on the card by like 10 minutes.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Good.
And I'm not saying
they need
that.
what they need to do, yeah.
I understand why people might have expected this match more than most matches you see to go that extra 5 minutes. It's meant to be the best of the best going up against each other to determine who is the best. And maybe you need a little bit of a more, and I hate this word, but epic runtime to achieve that goal. And it's like, all right, okay, well, yeah, I went 25 minutes in there, but I am the best and she's the other best, and that's why it went that long. So I guess maybe in this specific context, I understand where people are coming from, but I don't think the finish came out of nowhere. I don't think that it felt like an anticlimax. I don't feel like it needed it in the context of itself. It was just really hard-hitting, quite urgent, not for the first time that Tiffany Stratton, our brevity queen, has had a match on PLE this year that just did exactly what it needed to accomplish in a truly refreshing time frame that didn't feel completely self-conscious and baggy and long for the sake of long. Like, more wrestlers should do as much with that time as Tiffany Stratton. I pointed it out when I interrupted, sorry, but that spot with the knees up, it's like you see it in every match, but it really felt like the execution of it was perfect. No, I had a really good time with this. I thought it was a very, very strong bit of business. More like it, and I'll be less miserable.
Well, speaking of epic, following this, we got John Cena versus AJ Styles.
Oh my God.
Before we even get into the introduction for AJ Styles, it's time to go over to Gear Corner. Is that a thing?
No.
Not enough corners.
Not enough corners, I'm afraid.
Gear corner, the spunking and crying corner. Like, what the was this? I should have known, because AJ Styles put the tweet out of the cover of PWI with the "This means war," and it was Cena and him, and it was him in the gear that he wore on Impact's first night on Spike, the blue and white. But there is a weird. In total,
Did you like his legs?
I liked his legs. In contrast to 2025, where I find its existence disgusting in many ways, I have such an emotional bond to early TNA. I cannot describe. There was a one it was at All In at Wembley when Sting and Christian Cage came together, and there was a massive TNA chant, like the biggest wrestling crowd ever, maybe. It's like, yes, because this country remembers when this used to be a business, as opposed to whatever this disgusting, mutated WWE light thing it is now. I hate TNA.
Record attendance over the weekend.
I don't care. I think it's a lie, and I think they're all idiots for buying tickets. It's right?
New TV deal coming as well.
It's absolutely awful, and I hate that this sort of psyop is working.
Yeah, yes.
Like, all I saw on Twitter last night, it's actually getting coverage. Compare this to like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They couldn't buy a like. They couldn't buy an engagement.
But there was a TNA that nobody liked or watched that I loved.
Yes.
Right? And AJ Styles was so key to that. We've talked about how he's a difficult wrestler to analyse because he's kind of had his money years where the matches have
frittered away. But he really is that favourite wrestler, a proper innovator. And now he's dressed like the guy that was innovating for this, what would prove to be a match that would suit that as well. You know, like a guy dressing as a tribute to a different version of himself, about to have a match that was itself a tribute to a bunch of other things. I love wrestling gear. I like it when it means something to either the performer or the match or the story. It turned out, not that we were to know as he walked that aisle, it was a vibe setter.
Yeah.
Like, as were the introductions. We didn't know that as they were about to lock up, but it turned out to be quite fitting with everything else that we saw play out as well. Put me in what turned out to be the right mood for this match.
Apologies in advance. I've really tried to get down every homage that they did.
Every Easter egg.
Yeah.
Sorry, it wasn't just the shorts and the jacket and the hood as well. Even more like his wedding ring on like the choker. You got like a guy that's...
Who's he married to?
Winter Styles.
Like, he wore that when it was sort of
We're kicking it old school.
like the man, like the phenomenal one himself.
Indeed.
Like, but when he used to wear that was like that era of like, you know, like shell necklaces and the wooden one. And it was like, he's a near 50-year-old man in 2025, but he's committing to the bit that much that he's wearing the choker. Admire that. If in 2026 he cuts his hair, like he gets rid of that gorgeous hair for the bit, I'll admire him.
But another genuinely lovely moment was, you know, Cena has his Alicia Taylor introduction, you know, never seen 17, And then he hands a piece of paper to her, and she reads it. It's the introduction for AJ Styles, the definition of total non-stop action, the ace.
Can he say that?
The ace. I love it if like Caval's watching going, oh, he can say it apparently. The ace and undisputed boss of the Bullet Club. He says he gets Alicia to say it's his honor as an opponent to see if he can beat up John Cena one final time. The face that runs the place, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Maybe this is something that I should say for the end of the match, but I'll just say it now. We will probably talk for many years what a generational balls up the John Cena heel turn was. And WWE are kind of getting what they deserve here.
I thought we list entries out the ass.
Yeah.
You're going to get bored in about 5 years, God willing.
There's 25 worst WWE moments of the year will be coming at the end of the year. And when it comes to John Cena stuff, there's like 6 of them.
Jesus.
And
you're
yet here we
blind.
are.
Well, and yet here we are. And when I say WWE are getting what they deserve, it's because they probably could have had just like 25 nice nights or something.
Because this had no build. I know it was relying upon...
but like all of them would have had no build, or
Yeah.
a version of no build, because you've got Cena for what you've got him for or whatever. And opponents old, opponents new, the weird dream matches here or there, whatever.
Or old and old.
Or old and old.
Or old and old.
When the good ones happen, like it's the biggest it is. Have a look at what you could have won, WWE.
Yeah,
you messed it up.
Despite the negativity, match of the year, turn of the year, and promo of the year. Pretty...
What's match of the year?
This one.
No.
People will say it. What's the promo of the year?
Pipe bomb.
Shut up, man. He's just doing his stupid bits.
Like
And the greatest heel turn ever.
Well, no, because
In the moment.
even in the moment.
Check the tapes. I think we will have...
I can give you
I'm
one and a
pretty
half.
positive on that
One and a half out of 3, I think, on that. But like,
Almost a trifecta, that.
it's half. It's half of one.
Halfway there.
It was a great heel turn. I'm not denying that, but let's come on.
Trifecta half full. That's how I look at it.
Have you ever seen
have you ever
seen
trifecta? So.
Have you ever seen Ole Anderson's heel turn?
No, obviously not.
Nope.
What was the team?
Crush Gals. Catch up, old man.
Right.
But yeah, like what this and the Cody one. Like John Cena's retirement tour will leave me with some genuinely incredible memories.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
And it was a disaster.
Yeah.
Like half a year. Like a proper business killer of a disaster of half a year. Mad.
Funny.
So I haven't really gone like, here's how the match developed. I've just tried to remember all of the things that they hit from other people. So back and forth. Skull crushing finale from Cena. Styles comes back with a scorpion death drop. Styles counters the STF into a crossface. Cena counters that into the accolade. Rusev. There was a coquina clutch in there. Walls of Jericho.
Who's that?
Chris Jericho. Into a calf crusher from AJ Styles. Styles hit a Styles clash for a 2 count. And then another really, really moment. Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Cena catches him and hits Sister Abigail, and the Fireflies come out.
It was amazing.
That was magic.
It was proper magic.
That was proper professional wrestling magic.
The look, and he's a worker, obviously, but the look that John Cena gives, where he's just like, gets up out of it, or sits up out of it, he's just like, bloody hell, look at this.
They're registering it as he did it.
Yeah.
And it was how Bray won the title, wasn't it? That capture of the phenomenal forearm as well. And the fans picking up on it, the company lowering the lights, like that felt like in it. Oh, I wonder how well this could go. It's gone even better than we thought. Playing to that, like that stuff shouldn't happen in the middle of a match, and it just, it's rare that something can lift you out the match because that's not ideal because it's breaking the immersion or whatever. But it actually fit it more. That was the. You know what I mean? Like normally when something like that happens, it like takes you out of it. It's then tricky to get back in. But I was like, oh, they might have found the one template.
This match is going to be so weird to review because I was completely out of it and in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not a wrestling match, but I really enjoyed it.
Same.
Yeah, like people say, like, oh, when they're criticizing, like, oh, this, this company or this match or whatever, it's just finisher spamming. that's what this is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I got that.
AJ hits Angel's Wings for 2. Cena set up for a pedigree, but Styles counted into a dead eye. There was a Orton draping DDT from Cena and an RKO for a near fall. Sets up for the punt. What a lovely way. What history we've got together. Kick your head off. But
Hollywood actor John Cena cannot act, can he?
Yeah, it's awful.
Can you mimic Randy Orton? Got it, boss. What the f*** is that, John?
Have you ever seen him? He's always down selling.
Never seen him, but he's wrestled him 814 times.
Yeah, but he's selling.
Within 2 years.
He's down selling, so he doesn't see what Orton does. He just
Somebody
thinks, it normally sounds a little bit like this. Let's see Randy Orton one more time. Michael Hamflett.
Randy Orton one more time, something like is the non-verbal version of his Rosette theory. Do you get what I'm doing, guys? in the back row? I'm doing Randy Orton.
But
Just slither around the ring.
Styles avoids it. It's an AA for 2. Ooh, his move. Goes to do the 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena grabs him by the throat and hits a choke slam.
That was really well done, there.
The crowd, Andy mentioned on the news, maybe that was an homage to the Big Show as well, rather than just Taker, because we got the thing later on for Taker. The crowd were like 619, and I was like, yes, very nice. And then he tried to do it. He drops him into the middle rope, but thankfully for everybody, probably Styles cuts him off. Springboard 450, and then a nice homage from AJ Styles to Jey Uso with the super kick. Sweet chin music. Yeah. Phenomenal forearm for 2. Cena hit an AA for 2. Styles tried a high cross, and you all thought you knew where it was going here. The usual sort of roll through. Whoop,
So that was a 2017 Rumble finish, wasn't it?
Yeah. But he rolls through and hits a tombstone pile driver before finishing the match with an AA and a lovely show of appreciation from the fans and from the wrestlers for each other at the end of this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this was incredible. I thought you can't do this, really. It's bollocks. It's nonsense. It's like 2 people in a training school could do this, 2 people on an indie show could do this. There have been times where on indie shows, prominent ones at that, people have done this because the context of when you do it is everything. Like, you've absolutely, like, the room has got to be read impeccably to get away with something like this. It's got to be between the exact right wrestlers at the exact right moment, kind of in the exact right story. And luckily for them, all of the above was true. A John Cena retirement thing. I would have never have seen this coming, but maybe I should have thought something was coming, because I think we were quite honest in our appraisals in the preview of this wasn't really on my nostalgia list, but fair play, they seem to want it. But to imagine that the 2 of them could have like this 2016/17 work rate match was like, it was well out of John Cena's capabilities and maybe a little out of AJ Styles as well. So maybe you should have thought, so what trick have they got? And this turned out to be the trick, but what a trick. That 2017 match, the other bit of trivia of that at the time was that, they didn't leave the ring. And it was,
yeah.
And I can't recall them leaving the ring.
No, they didn't.
As well. So that was
didn't.
like a tribute to their own thing while they were kind of like performing all of this. I thought that's like a little nod to themselves as they give these nods to other people. And I thought some of the nods were particularly like, because I did sense there was an element of improvisation. You talk about the 619. There was a few others where they might have had the idea of which ones they were going to use. So like John Cena cycles through his opponents, AJ Styles cycles through.
What are you laughing at?
It's the next match he's in. Burning Hammer.
Well, like, with this being with AJ Styles embracing the TNA of it all, and that being part of it, so like all of his were like TNA opponents, whereas John Cena's were John Cena's. And then they start improvising because it's like AJ Styles never fought Shawn Michaels in TNA. He never fought Shawn Michaels at all, but he can do the super kick. So who knows which ones were the ones they were going to get to, and who knows which ones this is working.
It's not a TNA reference. I know Michaels is synonymous with a move.
I read something about this and I can't remember.
Last something.
I don't know, because the Dead Eye was the Kazarian one, wasn't it? And it's like, 2 reasons it didn't get a big reaction. But like everything was in theory, it did have a structure.
Yeah.
John Cena's WWE guys versus AJ Styles TNA guys, the WWE versus TNA war, and we just fight to a finish. Right down to the Tombstone wasn't just a popper. AJ Styles gave The Undertaker his last match, didn't he? And was beaten by him as well. So that's how you put down AJ Styles in WWE law. So there was loads of detail attached to what was otherwise like a thing that you simply cannot do unless the circumstances are perfect. And the circumstances were perfect. And I will, almost to my own detriment sometimes, subscribe to this idea that you do first and foremost, wrestle for the audience. And if the idea is working, you've got it right. And if it isn't, you haven't. And I mean, the evidence was there. This couldn't have worked.
It was proof, not evidence.
Yeah,
proof.
It could not have worked any better for the live crowd. They will go away. You mentioned match of the year. I would imagine 95% of this crowd will walk away feeling like they've just seen the match of the year. They've paid for their ticket and they can't believe they're in Perth. They got it. This had the magic about it. It did. It wouldn't go on my match of the year list, but I loved living through it, and I will probably find myself watching it again this week just to see how I feel. Now I know what's coming. Like, will I still feel the same? I was smiling throughout the majority of this.
The first thing that I'd like to say is thank you, Kenny Omega, and you should all join me in that, because he has introduced this idea of a Dominion 2018. Like, he used the Styles Clash, he used the moves of Kota Ibushi. Like, he's popularized this as a thing. We see Ospreay did it against Okada at the 2022 G1 Climax. I might have got the year wrong. Hangman and Swerve have started doing, like, incorporating each other's. Obviously, I'm not saying move theft was invented by Kenny Omega, but this sort of tribute in context.
Styles Clash was, like, really powerful in New Japan lore, wasn't it? When he left, like, that was a big thing, wasn't it, that you were picking up the Stars. It gets a massive reaction, doesn't it, the Styles Clash?
So I do...
Killed it on the first night in WWE, didn't they? Didn't Jericho kick out?
That sounds right.
Yeah, probably.
Because he was a phenomenal forearm guy.
So, I just want to say, thank you to Kenny Omega. And if you enjoyed this match, you should extend your gratitude towards him as well. I'm only being half facetious. To go on to the actual review of the match, I have so many colliding, contradictory ideas, and it contradicted itself. But ultimately, it was an unforgettable experience. We must praise, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we must praise Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, who were marking out without being so obnoxious, Matt Striker, to say those words out loud. I don't want to say they made it, but they enhanced it immeasurably, as is their job. So fair play to them. I never thought I'd put Michael Cole over, but here we are. So these are the two contradictory ideas, right? On one level, this was a farce that I didn't take seriously, and nor was I meant to take it seriously as a match. I didn't care who won or lost. I didn't believe it. Even in this, I don't believe in any pro wrestling as a fight, ever, because I'm not watching the Japanese shoot-style circuit of the early to mid-1990s. Therefore, I'm not doing it because it's impossible. But within its own context, you're meant to think it's this competitive battle that they're making decisions because they think it's real. No, it was just a completely gratuitous, they'll pop for this. Like a PWG match, this irreverent... we're not doing rings here, guys. We're doing PWG. You've bought your ticket. We're going to do some daft stuff. And I'm not saying all of PWG was like that, but this was very much spiritually indebted to that. We're here to pop you. If it makes no sense, if it's just completely beggy and flagrant, that's what we're here to do tonight. And it got to a point where it's like, right, it's the absolute epitome of just turn taken, back and forth, turn taken, back and forth, to a point where it's like, they're just doing a move here. I don't care how it was sold. I'm not even viewing it as, that move is really well executed and it's been executed at the right time. So I'm thinking this could be the finish. It was just, we're taking turns here. We're taking turns. So on one level, it made a mockery of what it is to assemble a traditional pro wrestling match. And as a result, I didn't really receive it as a pro wrestling match. It lacked the energy, the identity, the essence of what I watch wrestling for. However, within this total farce, like this by design farce of a thing that half resembled pro wrestling, it had more of the pro wrestling magic than the vast majority of matches I've seen this year. And what I mean by that was, every time I see something that feels improvised, in the moment, like proper working magic, where it's like, we've got it about us as pro wrestlers to think on the fly, improvise, do something that wasn't in this increasingly homogenized, familiar script, makes me explode. That 619 spot was one of the most magical bits of pure, just like you remember it, honest to goodness pro wrestling within the body of a farce. Like, I'd love to have seen John Cena try, but they've sat there and thought,
He tore every muscle in his body.
I just love the
So I
idea
was saving that one for Gunther, probably.
of John Cena, who kind of went up in my estimation having watched this, because he was one of the most formulaic wrestlers there ever was. Go, right, obviously I can't do this, but let's pretend we're going for it. You can cut us off and do it. So, like, within a snap, within a split second, they've went, right, okay, give him this, but I can't do it. And they might,
AJ just sits there, go on.
go on then. Go on then. I love that. That's pro wrestling to me. That felt, in all likelihood, was improvised. And I tell you what, if John Cena ever opens his mouth and goes, it's just as well the chanting for the 619 would plan that spot, I will kill him. Or I will get very disappointed, because that, for me, was the magic of professional wrestling. And yet again, because this match completely contradicted itself in a match that just didn't have anything really about a pro wrestling match, because it was this deliberate farce, this almost scanned as parody. But again, there was more within the magic. Like, I thought this was genuinely, for what it was, a well-worked version of this impossible to take seriously parody, like the 5 You Can't See Me into the choke, like it all connected to itself.
Yeah.
And the tombstone bit at the end completely got me. Like, grabby, desperate, all those things you can apply to it. Not a real match, but what it was great. I just had a time watching this, but I thought it was really well done for what it was. And I'll tell you this as well. Like, I'll understand the ball knowers who would say, oh, this was a farce. Sometimes I am one, for Christ's sake. Right? Where I'm like, oh, come on. Like, there's a kick out here. It's like, because I can tell the rhythm. They've got 3 or 4 more of these at least to get through. So, right, put your feet up. You're not getting a finish here. So I get it. I do very much get it, right? But in another way, this was no different to, I want to say, I watched all of them. I watched 2 promotions, right? In a very real way, this was not unlike every match I see that increasingly, not to be too much in the way of Rip Rogers, but increasingly feels like this rigid set of instructions of, please like me, please say I'm awesome, please say this is awesome, please say this is epic, please put me on your match of the year list. There is an infestation of this attitude, and you can see it in the body of the matches, where it's like, we so nakedly want to have a great match that everyone likes that you miss. And I think I was a bit more like, I don't care about anything, but offended, or like, I know what you're going for here, and I can see right through you in the main event than this. If you're going to do this match, this type of grabby, please like me, tell me I'm good, tell me I'm good, tell me I'm good match that almost everyone does. Like, this was the least self-conscious, most self-aware, fun, celebratory version of this attitude that has infested pro wrestling for years and years and years at this point. Like, put it this way, this is a WWE match that I'll remember almost beat for beat.
Yeah.
You got to say something for that.
It's easy to be bold when you're over and legendary and can do no wrong in a building, and it felt like that was the case of both these before the bell rung. But I would still say it was bold. Like, I think both things can be true. Like, this was a bold idea, not just like conceptually, but then obviously in terms of the execution of everything. If there's a flub, or if the execution is not quite good enough because you're doing other people's stuff, like, these things can fall apart quicker than they look, even though the 2 were as over as they were, and the crowd would have been as forgiving as they possibly could have been, you know? Best match ever. We talk about Rock and Hogan and how it's magic. We use the word again, magic. Hogan's execution is not necessarily up to snuff.
It's awful
throughout. But at no point do the fans let that be the end of Hulk Hogan.
They just fill in the blanks for him.
Yeah, and I think that was happening here in that same way. And it's funny that it takes place in the mid-card, and Sidge mentions a main event that then has a job on to sort of, and like this was, main event of the show was vastly superior to Triple H, Chris Jericho. However, like, vastly. Orders of magnitude.
What isn't? What isn't?
But there was similar sort of doses of magic that the fans were going to be there for, even if something didn't quite take. But most things took, so they didn't have that to worry about.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's just fun. It's just fun. I want to go back and watch this again, like you say.
Was this your match of the year then? You said it before, like...
I don't think it would be, probably, but I can see why people are
Can
saying
you make
it.
a Gabe kid for you?
No.
What about Moxley Hangman?
Definitely not.
Such
don't
an asshole.
I don't know what it would be right now. Maybe the women's triple threat from Mania.
I think
That was the
mine.
best Fed match of the year for me, the women's
agree.
triple threat.
It was proper. That's the difference here. Isn't
Yeah.
It? That was the fighting for the title. It's WrestleMania. It's the real thing as opposed to what this was.
But this was, like you say, I'm going to go back and rewatch this. And before I forget, because I was searching as you two were doing your expert analysis there of around on X, because I've seen this somewhere, and everyone's like, well, super kick, oh my God, switch your music, Shawn Michaels, the graphic of that someone mocked up years ago.
Remember that?
Shout out to Garrett Kidney,
Of course.
TNA expert.
Yeah.
who simply to WWE's tweet of Sweet Chin Music replied, "This is a last call." James Storm?
James Storm, yeah. I mean, he was doing the songs to suit your music.
They're all doing
But,
such music.
Yeah. But I love Garrett Kidney, so and nobody's as entitled to a TNA take as he is.
Chris Adams. So.
The gentleman.
Then we got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Belated happy birthday to Rhea Ripley. She was 29 on the day of this show, of course.
That's fallen quite nicely.
Yeah, versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. For different reasons, another epic here. The Kabuki Warriors attack at the bell. The fans, at this point, we know what they called her later, called Asuka a wanker.
Call her a
Later on.
Oh, that means mate.
It does.
It does.
You sneak one in there?
I did.
Okay. Watch you two. They isolate Io Sky, obviously. I'm going to mention it now because I'm fairly certain I've missed it in my notes. There was a bit where Io Sky jumped off the ropes and drop-kicked Asuka, and it was shared everywhere, the slow-mo of how much Asuka's head snapped.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Boosh.
Badge.
I can't remember when it happened, but I was like, oh,
Jesus.
eventually we got the hot tag to Rhea Ripley. Crowd love it, obviously. She dominates. Then she brings Io Sky back in. But Asuka gets involved as distractions. And Kairi knocks down Io and sends Rhea into the steel steps. But Sky takes out both of them with a moonsault. Asuka breaks up the cover after she hits Kairi with another one in the ring. They hold Rhea Ripley down. Asuka holds her in place, and Kairi Sane hits an insane elbow, but Sky comes in to break it all up. But in the end, the babyfaces fight back, and it looks like Asuka's going to get taken out on the apron, but Kairi Sane takes the bullet for her. Ripley boots Kairi off the apron, brings Sane back in, riptide, moonsault from Io Sky, and a win for Rio.
Good, not great.
Hey, my guy. My guy, there's a little guy in there.
I did. We all want different things, different needs. The story was well tended to, and I wanted that, and that mattered more than the actual quality of the match, but I did expect a slight higher quality, and I didn't get it. It missed its peak a little bit. I'm not sure, like in stark contrast to the champion versus champion match, I'm not sure it needed quite the time it was allotted here.
Very rarely does.
What was the runtime?
Yeah, pretty much 20 minutes, pretty much double.
Yeah, at least 5 long, maybe a little bit more than that. Weirdly, and I would have booked this match for this.
Size doesn't matter.
I would have booked this match for this show. Weirdly, Rhea Ripley was almost like an exhibition character here in Perth, and I felt like they were trying to like juggle that with this being quite a serious story that's dominated Raw for the last month, and I don't think those things worked necessarily.
I need more time.
I understand why they did it.
Honestly, the acting has been horrific.
Yeah, not good. Like, I understand why they did it, because she was in the main event the last Perth show, and that was a serious title match. It was against Nia Jackson. On that night, she did feel like the whole world is built around Rhea Ripley returning to Australia as the big star, whatever. Maybe it was hurt by having to follow the last match. Like, there's no breathing room anymore for these things. It's like,
Did you see the Undertaker's appraisal of the match?
What, of this match?
No, the Cena Styles.
Nah.
Loved it.
I haven't received his one for finish.
What a hypocritical loser that man is. You see that anywhere else in the world. He's like, God having this goddamn business.
Maybe I'll book one of my AAA matches to go the same way if people teach me what some of their guys' finishes are, because I ain't never watched a second of it in my stinking life.
Why would I? Huh?
Luce.
Luce Libre.
It was fine. Like I say, move the story on the way I liked.
Hero, you saying I'm dirty?
I don't know. Wasn't moved by it that much, truthfully. Just a nice bit of business. And I kind of thought the match itself was. We just talked about the three-way being, had 2 of them in it. Just thought it was going to be a little bit more exciting as a match.
With that in mind, would you want to see more of them as a tag team?
Rio?
No?
Yes, I would actually. Yeah.
Indifferent.
I think it's one of them tactical things. The division is okay, the women's tag division. It's not amazing, but like Alexa and Charlotte are popular tag champions. These would make like a massively hot star addition to that division, and it frees up.
Well, if they can get past Sol Ruka and Zarya, of course.
Indeed. Frees away for like a lot of singles feuds to take place without them, which is always a benefit as well. When you can like move your stars around, that doesn't hurt. So yes.
Can they drag it to Mania?
Drag what?
The Charlotte and Alexa versus Rhea and Io.
It's Triple H. I'm sure he'll try.
Find a way.
It is October.
I'm sure, yeah. Did I stutter?
If they want to.
I'm sure he'll try.
It's big sounding, isn't it?
Yeah.
If
they're not, like you say, I mean, they all could be involved.
Don't call them succeed, do they? Call them try.
That's good stuff like that. There is a missing piece, and they've got time to work this out in the days of house shows that have worked it out and revealed it on this show, but house shows don't exist anymore. You can feel there is a missing piece to Rhea and Io as a tag team that they've yet to quite figure out, like a chemistry thing, a couple more double teams than what we're getting out of them, just something.
Catchphrase, you've been murked, or
perfect matching gear. Stick that on the pile.
Yeah. Maybe some WrestleMania wind-ups they could do.
You bloody love Rio Ferdinand's World Cup.
Honestly, it was a moment in time.
It was. You had to be there.
You had to be there. You absolutely had to be there for that.
Rio. They're not quite finished yet, and this was like a massive point in the story for them to have this match. So I don't think it maybe timed out as well as they would have liked. Just fine.
They're in there too long. And I'll tell you, it's helpful that this match, well, not necessarily for the atmosphere, but then again, the crowd were up for everything. Yeah. It's weird, like, I saw a lot of tweets, and I think even the commentators were, Wade Barrett was like, follow that. Go on, then. Follow that. It's like the idea of, like, this performative international crowd being killed by this great match. It's like, I'm fairly certain they're just going to cheer and chant Boney M for the duration of the evening at a sustained, desperate volume, irrespective of what happens. So you can't follow everything on one of these shows. And
it was Rhea. She was super.
Yes, of course. It's useful in terms of what I was trying to get at, in case it wasn't clear by me repeating myself 5 times, as I often do. What I was talking about when I was talking about AJ and Cena being a bit farcical and not a wrestling match necessarily is that these exchanges between Asuka and Io Sky, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about wrestling. Like the intent behind everything. This like sort of savage need to, in the body of the performance, seem like you are actively really trying to hurt each other. Like the drop kick, like how you almost like scorpioned herself going after Asuka with that dive through the ropes. Like everything they did adhered to the illusion of, I want to hurt you and I'm going to try my goddamn best to execute what I'm amazing and spectacular at with the idea of hurting you. That intent, that actual physicality, the order of it all was what AJ Cena wasn't. That was just turn taken. Let's pop the crowd with it. I didn't feel like they were in pain or that they were desperate to put the other one away during that match at all. It was a completely different thing. In this case, both good, both completely effective in completely different approaches. Like I thought when it was weird, like this match was almost fundamentally flawed. It didn't matter in terms of the atmosphere or the general wider reception to it, but the idea here was, as most of these matches are, but they took ages to get Rhea into it because the whole idea was like they were turning up that volume knob almost to the point where what Asuka, I don't know, Kairi Sane was also there, I'm afraid. But what Asuka and Io were doing was like just slowly turning up the knob. I know this is every match, but every tag, every Southern style structure. Rhea comes in. Black crikey! My hero's here now. I'm cockney. I can't do accents. But I personally thought that Asuka and Io stuff was so good that when like Rhea came in, it's like, oh, it's not as good now. Not as epic. So I thought they were in there too long, and I was just really... I came out of this big Rhea Ripley's big night going, God, was I happy to see her? And really, I'd have to say no, because I came out of this match...
Wreck off Rhea.
Yeah, wreck off Rhea. I left this match thinking, God, I need to see Asuka Io one-on-one.
Yeah.
Just kick their ass. In there too long.
Main event of the evening. Champion versus champion, the World Heavyweight
In there
Champion.
too long, but it was good.
And the WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, for the Crown Jewel Championship. Rollins wearing the watch that... He's finally worn it.
Oh, God, I forgot about that bit.
Cody gifted him. And early on in this match, Cody's got the better of him. That's the story they're telling, obviously. Rollins is getting more and more frustrated. So much so that when he tried to roll out the ring, he sort of rolled into the referee. I can't do anything right today.
That's good, that. I don't know if that, they can't have worked that, but Seth's reaction too, you never see a wrestler bumping into the referee when they're trying to roll out and take a breather. He was livid about it, and it's that a bit like what you were saying about they've just actually picked up on something that's happened and rolled with it. Yeah. You see it so rarely in WWE, and Seth Rollins was probably actively, you'd probably bollock somebody back and say, what was that? That was not in the move-by-move rundown of the match, sir. Yeah. And he acted upon instinct.
Yeah, so he's stomping around ringside. He's pissed off. He can hear what Wade Barrett and Michael Cole are saying, so much so that he confronts Barrett and shoves Cole. And Cody comes out to sort of check on everything. But in amongst all that allowed Seth to attack him. He drapes him over the barricade, gets a huge pap when he knocks over the prime bottles, does Seth Rollins, and then he hits a double foot stomp to the shoulder. And keeps targeting that as they get back in the ring. Does a Stardust cartwheel and pose just to rub it in. But Rhodes fights back, hit a vertebraker, and Rhodes hits his power slam disaster kick, bionic elbow, suicide dive. Cody cut her for 2, but Rollins avoided another disaster kick, hit a pedigree for 2. Rhodes wanted a crossroads, but Rollins countered it and hit one of his own for a 2 count. Rhodes got out of the way of a Phoenix Splash, but went for a super Cody cutter and just, there was no one there. Rollins hit a curb stomp for a near fall. He's like, right, if that doesn't work, what can I do? Goes out and gets the watch, wraps it around his fist, but then decides against it and leaves it in the corner. This has allowed Cody to recover. He hits a Cody cutter and a crossroads for a 2 count. Rollins manages to sort of hang Cody Rhodes in a tree of woe. He gets trapped in the corner. And there's almost a stop kicking his ass. Stop kicking his ass. He's going to get DQ because the referee has to shove Rollins away. And Seth Rollins goes to the top rope on the other side of the ring and hits a coast-to-coast headbutt on Cody Rhodes.
Oh my God.
Seth Rollins did something based. Seth Rollins did something beast. Seth Rollins did something cool. I couldn't believe it.
Now there's a spot where I might buy Seth Rollins getting injured.
I couldn't believe it.
Because he jumped on his arm.
Planted that arm. I could not believe he did something sick. Awesome. What? Have I gone blind? Jesus.
He follows that up with a Spanish fly off the top and a manhandle slam for a near fall. I like that. They fight on the top rope. This time, Cody Rhodes hits a super avalanche crossroads, but only gets 2.
Shocking that.
They trade spots.
He's getting bad for it, Cody, isn't he?
Shocking that one.
He's getting bad for it.
Cody sets up for a pedigree. Rollins drops down, scampers through his legs to the corner. Whilst the referee's not looking, he grabs the watch, and then there's a ref bump in there, and as Cody sets up for another crossroads, Rollins nails Cody with the watch. Yeah. Curb stomp, super curb
My guy,
stomp.
Seth Rollins.
For the 1, 2, 3. And post-match, Rollins celebrates. He's got the ring. He does a nice Jim Carrey, like a glove, reference in there. Gets the belt.
Oh, God, he did it.
And he's going to be interviewed, and he's just horrible. Snatches the mic. Oh, I'll say what I want to say. He's going to get asked about how it feels to get this monkey off his back. Feels better than anyone could ever imagine. Some of us dream impossible dreams, and some of us actually do it. I'm no longer the greatest of my generation. I'm the greatest of all time. Hits his catchphrase. And then poor Stephanie Vaquer has to be in there like, me and him together close out this show.
I think this was a good night to be a situational Sether, basically. There was a lot to like about his work here, even if I found a few flaws with the match itself. Me and Sid were having a conversation about this before we came in. I think we immediately agreed. The
Worst of the foe.
Worst of the foe. But high bar. You know, like the first three were excellent. This was the weakest, but it wasn't, it wasn't a bad match by any means. Seth Rollins in particular, I thought was tremendous throughout all of this. I bought from opening bell to that post-match promo how much he needed this win. At no point did I feel like it was divorced from the fiction, you know.
I should mention, sorry, before you continue, I should mention there was a bit earlier on with the backstage with the Vision. I mentioned the bit they were celebrating about, you beat Roman Reigns, but also Paul Heyman said, like, if he flails and asks for help, we're not going out there. And they sort of all collectively said, what happens if he doesn't win? And Heyman said, I think you know what happens.
Yeah.
Pressure was on.
A nice follow-up from Heyman and Rollins' own version of that on Monday as well. Like, he overacted with the watch, but it's WWE. Everybody overacts with everything, unfortunately. They're obviously told to slow it down when you're doing your big dramatic looks or whatever. But even
I think you're missing it, though. He was expressing his internal conflict about whether to proceed as a good guy or to be a bad guy.
And he decided, Cody's not doing this, not on my watch.
I just thought maybe he was checking if the time was correct. But thank you, Sidge.
We already know it's Tiffy time. That was established earlier on.
Yes, of course. No, but
you see, it's Stephanie Vaquer's time now.
Oh, good point. Is that different? Is that like daylight savings or?
That's probably why I was so confused with the watch. It was like, is this hers? Mine? Like, if I win the belt and she's got, do I have to give the watch to her? You know, it's watch stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
TikTok.
New timeline.
And the last time is now.
Oh my God. So many people on the watch. No wonder Seth was like, it doesn't fit. It's been preset to 5 different people tonight.
And oh my God, let me just check my watch. It's
Time to suck my dick.
It's Sidgwick's watch. Seth Rollins like, I need to give this to Michael Sidgwick. He says such nice things about me. Like, Cody Rhodes. I fell out with Cody Rhodes a bit midway through this because the early going is exactly what I love about Cody Rhodes. He has brought back a lot of the basic stuff, but he's such a massive star and times it all out so well that you enjoy it all over again. The whole deal about, like, I've got your number, mate. I could have watched that for another 5 minutes. I was enjoying it that much. Seth Rollins was selling the frustration. Cody Rhodes is so good. It's why he was such a good heel as well as being a babyface of, like, I'm the best. Like, there's always a little slither of arrogance.
I love how he gets off on himself.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But he can stay the top. Yeah! It always makes me think of him stealing Xavier Woods' girl when they were amateur wrestlers in college. You know, like,
was it the bowling alley?
Yeah, down the bowling alley, like, just be that jock energy, but he's the top baby, the QB1, all that sort of stuff. There aren't many that can...
He's such a good heel.
Like, I thought all of this about John Cena, but then I was told repeatedly, no, he's the best guy, he's the best. Like, for 20 years. No, he's the best. Like, you're wrong, in fact. Everything about him is nice and virtuous, so shut up. With Cody, you're allowed to be like, you're kind of being an asshole. But, like, Seth, was boiling over. Like, so they could have done that for another 5 minutes for me. It was when they decided to use the time on the multiple kick-out stuff that I was just
Cody's getting bad
by.
for this.
That Avalanche Crossroads there is sort of criminal because it's a WrestleMania win, let alone a WrestleMania kick-out. And it's gone now. You're never getting that back again. So that was a really odd and unnecessary choice. And Cody Rhodes historically, Seth Rollins doesn't. Cody Rhodes historically has better instincts than that. So I was a little bit disappointed in him.
Well, I've got a take on that.
Well, and I can sort of see where you're coming from there as well. But I would say within this WWE run, I feel like more often than not, he's sort of picked the right moments for certain things. And I didn't like that. And then the desperate...
At the very least, it's... the momentum of the crossroads off the top has brought us too close to the ropes.
That's a better spot. If they had done that and then sort of like, even if they hadn't landed it, just do an extra roll.
Yeah.
That's the rope break is the only.
Didn't wait for the pin, like sell and then go for the cover. Something, you know, like just to build in. He just kicked out straight away. Well, that's dead then. Why would my regular finisher work ever again now? Seth Rollins, the biggest and I think fairest criticism of his work is like abandoning selling and forgetting the story just to do his cool stuff. There was probably never a better time and a better match to do like Sidgwick's button, the coolest stuff he could do, because you are living with the desperation of the man. And what the hell was that? Like that is a desperate man using what he's capable of just to try and win. Will anything work against this guy, you know? And you didn't have the problem of him like, you know, Seth Rollins would typically drop that like move in a match where for 20 minutes he's been selling his knee. Now watch me do the biggest springboard of my life. So he didn't have a body part that he needed to worry about shaking off. This is a guy like driven almost to insanity with his desperation to beat Cody Rhodes and the panic of like what the Vision will think of him if he loses, or what his wife will think of him, or what he'll think of himself. The whole thing, he woven the gear from his 3 defeats into his tights. You know that he was wearing,
and he pointed at it as he was doing the dusty.
Didn't need that. I was wearing the obsession of it the entire like the match, you know.
Yeah.
And then he does that, and it's like, well, that actually, there you are. You're using the match to put over what you're trying to like do here, to the point where when he wins in the end, like I say, I wish he hadn't overacted the first bit of the watch, because the choice to leave it and like rather unremarkably go back to it for the finish, I thought was really smart as well. The ref wasn't bumped. The ref was temporarily taken out, and Rollins is experienced enough to just pick his moment. I enjoyed that too. This was, I wish they'd had a bit more faith in themselves to not rely on the finisher kickouts, because it would have been way stronger without them.
It was weird this, in that it was the weakest of the 4. Flashes of their kind of irresistible chemistry throughout. It felt forced, not just in the finisher kickouts, but also the length. But they are trying to put this over in their defense as one of the great epic defining rivalries of this modern resurgence era or whatever, even though it all kind of unfolded before Levesque took over creative.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's a thing that they've gone to revisit for a reason and all the rest of it. Like, I'm a massive fan of Cody Rhodes. I think he's great. I think he's funny. I think I'll always hold him in my debt for just being interesting and bold and taking wrestling, as bored as I am now of it at the moment, in this incredible direction that if you think I'm bored and apathetic now, brother, 2016 was what we're doing here. Thank God for New Japan. New Japan will factor into this review imminently, actually. So all of that out the way, because, you know, I do fundamentally think Cody Rhodes is great and I admire him, but I admire very few wrestlers. He's getting lazy and self-conscious and cheap, and he's wrestling almost in that. I think he's been in WWE too long. Obviously, a lot of people don't believe that. He himself doesn't believe that. What I mean by it is there's a WWE disease that they all get. When you are in that culture for too long. It's why Levesque is so close to Vince McMahon. It's why the yes men circles all gather around everyone who's in charge. It's why the product, in my opinion, is what it is, and it's rooted in kind of like a contempt for the audience. And I know Cody, I think it's a subconscious thing with him. I don't think he's out there backstage going, "Oh, I really fooled those marks." Like, I really want to emphasize, I don't think he's that kind of guy at all, but it becomes a subconscious thing where, you know, you should be told you wrestle in front of the audience that you wrestle in front of. And in terms of the way things are put together, like Punk's got it this year as well, where I don't know, just these endless kickouts, the idea that I'm going to believe in them, it just speaks to like a contempt that I'm that easily pleased and easily fooled. It's like, no, I'm not. And I don't know, he was doing it against Orton. Was that in Saudi?
What's that? The Cody and
Orton match.
Yeah.
There was
final,
loads of it in there. The Cena thing is the Cena thing. It's almost different. He gets a pass in a way because the idea that it was one of those where, again, Cena, for an apparent GOAT, marketed as the GOAT, he gets such a pass for his excesses and all the rest of it. So I can understand why Cody went for it there.
Didn't against Drew, and it was a bit boring, so maybe he's panicked off the back of that, because most people agreed. I think we've just witnessed Cody's worst WWE match. Maybe.
Yeah,
like,
so maybe this is like an overcorrect.
Yeah.
But against Cena, but again, they're telling the story of, guys, I know the heel turn was rubbish. This is an apology by way of giving you a Super Cena PWG performance. So I kind of get it in context. But it's becoming increasingly hard to defend how off, like, that Crossroads is dead. It is dead. And if this is peak New Japan, right, you think that Cody is telling the story of, oh, he's kind of on the way out. There's loads of other challengers emerging. like threatening to overtake him in the ranks. And if it's a sports-oriented story in a peak New Japan sort of setting, you're thinking, oh, he's going to like experiment with a new finisher, like when similar to Okada going for the money clip, because he started to almost deliberately just sort of like let the Rainmaker die and use it for these tricks. But then he was clever enough to think, right, okay, maybe that was overkill. I'll fold it into the story I'm telling on this like year-to-year basis, do the money clip or whatever. If this was peak New Japan, I would be reaching, bro, and thinking, oh, well, the power of that finisher is weakening because he's about to introduce a new one. And it's not peak New Japan, it's WWE. I think it's just self-conscious laziness, and even if it's subconscious, like this contempt for the audience, if I'll fool him with that, I'll do the Crossroads. He's killing that Crossroads. He is killing it. I will say that I got just enough glimpses of their great chemistry to stick with a match and not fall into that numb, I don't care mentality that I often do. And it was saved by two incredible bumps. Like that Cody going for that top rope, Cody cutter, Rollins ducking underneath, he just ate shit.
Yeah.
Flat on his back.
It looked amazing,
It looked amazing.
Could have looked like a bit of a CM Punk elbow drop mess
It looked,
on the way down, and it was
It looked
crisp.
like a literal like fall from grace. It looked fantastic, and Seth Rollins did something completely cool. And I was in disbelief watching it. Worst of the four, alarming, if you like, alarming feeling of Cody having peaked as a babyface, almost realizing that the second reign, the timing's not as good, the company's not as hot, he's not as hot. A few alarming signs that he is starting to overthink, overcorrect. This is what leads to heel turns ultimately, when you start getting like a bit desperate and grabby and do you like me and all the rest of it. We'll see, but yeah, I need a stronger, less self-conscious performance out of Cody sooner rather than later.
It's weird because I really liked the match and it didn't bother me in the slightest. But he got similar pelters for the Burning Hammer against AJ Styles, and my personal.
I will say this is in Cody's DNA.
Yeah, but my personal relationship with moves really is that but that's not how he finishes people. Like I can buy that he's just not as good at this devastating kill shot as the master practitioners of it, but he is of the Crossroads. That's how psychology makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, like a super kick hurts more from a young buck than somebody else, for example. Like, this was that. This was
Uso.
Indeed, yeah. Like, as evidenced by WrestleMania 40. Blew loads of them. Like, you can't... I would have taken a Burning Hammer for a 2 in this, but the Crossroads is his thing. 3 beats Roman Reigns if he holds on. You know, there's like rules you make up for it and stuff. One off the top. I want like Seth Rollins out on a stretcher, not an immediate 2 count. So that to me, like though he does things like that, this one was like, it's such a bizarre choice. I really don't know how they arrived at this for then, unless it was a little bit of
Seth Rollins' project. Like, we must love Seth Rollins, this project, and it's insane to me, but maybe it's a part of that.
Yeah, like every now and then.
Triple H, Seth Rollins' project is pretty crazy, all things considered.
I get it more than, I understand what you're saying. I get it more. Like Seth Rollins, the character, it's a bit like the cash-in at SummerSlam or whatever, and like the WrestleMania main event. He kind of has to win the ones that nobody feels as much in their gut. That's what this character is. This one was one, you know? Like WrestleMania main event.
Character doesn't have to exist.
I think it does. I think it's crucial to this WWE. I think like when you say about like the story you're revisiting is before
It'd be just fine without him, buddy.
Triple H even got the job.
It'd be just fine
I totally
without
disagree.
him.
You need a guy that's kind of a loser that doesn't realize he is one. Like if there was somebody that was just a genuinely bona fide top guy, proper tippy top guy, a John Cena that was the one that was playing Cody's Shield, I don't think he works half as well. Like I think he's got to be a.
Don't have to have the Shield.
I mean, that was.
You can do whatever you want.
No, that was incredible. That was like one of the all-time great moments in what historically brilliant WrestleMania.
What
you wanted
coming
to
back,
take away out of like class WWE history. Yeah, like I believe in him as a purpose.
Did well to stop this bollocks till the very end of the podcast.
I believe in him as a
which I hope this
purpose-serving
is
character, but I wouldn't have thrown this one away here. Seth was winning, you know.
I will say maybe we're overreacting here. Cody's wild swing lunatic who sometimes does stupid stuff that's pretty awesome. You know, like it's a bit Cody first adjacent. This kind of behavior from him, where he's like, he's getting to that point where maybe he's thinking, "Oh God, I've got to do something cool, otherwise they'll stop liking me."
But here's like what I think is maybe like a sort of perfect example of how and when to do this. Like when
maybe he's been doing it the entire goddamn time. Like I'll just pin Penta after he broke my arm.
That was real bad.
No problemo.
But like, so he might fight Punk at WrestleMania.
You better.
And me and Sidge were sat next to one another, and
I won't be there.
I was like, no, but I was going to say at Wembley when he put the hooks in. When like him and Joe went to the top, I was like, Sidge Pepsi plunge. Like, he's finally going to hit this. He could never hit on Joe in there. All the Ring of Honor law, and he's going to do it, and he's going to win. This is the finish. Joe's not kicking in a million billion years. They're not doing that with Joe kicking out at 2. Imagine that Cody cutter and Cody versus Punk for the first time. Like, and Punk might have given the Pepsi plunge kick out, and now Cody's going up to the top with the Cody cutter.
Crossroads, you mean?
Crossroads. Sorry, you're going. That's the finish. He's about to crossroads him from the top. That is the finish.
It was wasteful.
It's a guaranteed 2 in that match now. You've just lost that one. I think, but just moves in it, I suppose.
Just moves.
Just moves.
And
That's what the show was. Good though.
We can all agree, the best crown jewel ever.
I mean,
Well, it's this Fed thing. Where it's like, oh God,
Am
is
I
Crown Jewel
wrong?
good now? How many good revolutions have there been? Don't answer that, dickhead.
Let us know your thoughts, though, in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all 4 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
You can follow our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at
It's Adam Nicholas.
and you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, it's been the Crown Jewel review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.